If you make an average salary in the UK, then buying a home is pretty much impossible. But not quite. If they wanted to teach you, they would, but they won't, so I will. One of my followers asked me how a teacher living in the UK can buy a home. Now, I bought my home in my mid-20s, so I thought about it and I have a few ideas. Teachers in the UK get on average between £32,000 and £35,000 a year before tax, which coincidentally is the exact same range as the average UK salary. So if you're in that earning range, listen closely, this applies to you too. You can get a mortgage for a house with a 10% deposit when you're a first-time buyer purchasing a residential property. Some will even allow you a 5% deposit, which is great in theory. But the big issue is the amount that you can borrow from a lender to buy the property. Most banks will offer between 4 and 5 times your annual salary before tax, which is kind of the widely accepted rule, although some may offer more and some may offer less. So let's say you make £35,000 a year and get the maximum loan on a mortgage of 5 times your annual salary before tax. You're looking at being lent £175,000. The average house price in the UK, according to the government website, is £293,000, which means that you would need a deposit of £118,000 cash to purchase that home. And that works out to be a 40% deposit. Good luck. I have 2 solutions. 1, leave the UK, and no, I'm not joking. Or if you feel like you really want to stay, then this is what I think you should do. You need to buy your home with someone else. Ideally someone close to you that you trust, like a member of your family, your partner, a friend, or friends. Preferably someone who hasn't yet bought a property as well would be helpful. And if you plan on living there without them, which becomes slightly more difficult, then someone who can see this as a way to invest in and build equity in a property without paying as much of the mortgage. But that will depend on the terms that you agree with them. This would mean that you'd be able to take out a loan using all of the salaries of those applying for the mortgage, which means the amount that you'll be able to borrow will be more, which has 3 benefits. 1, you may be able to buy a bigger property. 2, the size of the deposit you need would shrink because you can loan more, making up more of the value of the property. And 3, you now have more people potentially contributing towards the deposit, therefore allowing you to pay a bigger one, which can seriously help you reduce your monthly mortgage repayment. Now, I won't tell any lies, this is a little riskier than just buying by yourself, but there are ways you can reduce the chances of things not going so well. Firstly, have a very frank and honest conversation about all parties' financial situations. Secondly, have a formal agreement in place and seek legal advice to get the best setup for your circumstances. And thirdly, open a joint bank account so you can track who has paid what when it comes to the mortgage and bills, etc, etc. This is actually how my mum bought her first home in the 80s while working at Asda. It's not new, it's not sexy, but it works. And it's way better than the shared ownership deals they try and advertise where you have to pay mortgage and rent.